Jim Lloyd joining you live from Dirioma, Nicaragua. We are out here on the patio. So welcome to my home. Let's see here. Let's get us live on Instagram. There we go. So today, good stuff. We're going to give you a little advice that I think can help anyone, whether you're a beginner, whether you're advanced, whether you're trying to be a big meathead, put on a bunch of muscle, or if you just want to look good and feel good. This simple some of these little simple tricks are going to really help. I think at least they've helped me, and they've helped me train clients for a long time. You know, if you've got people that have stuck with you for 20 years, they're not sticking you with 20 years because they're hurting all the time and they're in rough shape. And everybody wants to throw their hat into one camp. You know, people want to be, they either go to the super bendy camp or like strength solves everything camp, or you know, there's all these different camps online that are all, the answer is you need to be, if you want to feel good and look good, even if you're a high performer, you need to have some sort of balance in your training and work on your weak areas. That doesn't mean when you hit, you know, when you're like preparing for like a powerlifting meet that you need to be like a gymnast or a yogi, but you need to have enough balance and enough flexibility and mobility so that you can continue to train and not hurt yourself. So that's where I've, over the years, have used the warm up, and my warm up was influenced by the Parisi School of Strength and Speed. Now, we wouldn't do the whole warm up, but depending on the person I'm working with, if they're a beginner, the ground based warm up, knee circles, knee hugs, you know, I would change it according to maybe wall marches, according to who I'm working with. Maybe we throw some medicine ball slams in there. The warm up is such a great opportunity to work on quality of movement and work capacity, as opposed to just like riding a bike or walking on a treadmill, which is what most people do. And if you are going to ride a bike to warm up, I would highly suggest an Aerodyne, because it works on cross connecting and moving through the upper body, which most people don't know how to move well through their thorax. Or even better, a VersaClimber would be a much better way, which is basically like a standing bear crawl. So we want to restore some good movement, and most people don't realize is that we move through series of turns and shifting. And so things like powerlifting, bodybuilding, that they take those things away. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that bodybuilding and powerlifting is bad. It's just that we need to incorporate certain things so that we don't turn into like an unoiled tin man, which is essentially what most bodybuilders and powerlifters end up moving like, because they don't work things like rotation and balance into their training programs. So, and you also need to be able to move and perform in different ways. You need to be able to do high threshold things and low threshold things. So this is something really simple. Some of these things I can use in the warm up. I really love, like in between deadlift sets, in between squat sets, in between press sets, especially if you're at a big gym. I like pairing things together. But if you can't, for example, pair things together in a gym, what can you do in between sets so you're not just sitting around picking your nose? And here's some really simple things you can do depending on who I'm working with. Maybe we're doing one arm rows, and in between, we're going to have people just simply like, if I'm working with anyone really, I hope you can hear me okay. But like having people walk the plank, so to speak. And I would have either like a beam. I would have a beam on the floor and have people walk the beam. You'd be surprised how many people can't walk forwards and backwards, front to back like that. You know, like there we go. That is something super simple. You can do a few times in between a set, or cross connects. I can't put my elbow on my knee, but walking forward and backwards like this, especially for older folks or even younger folks, I've seen people that like big, strong powerlifting guys that can't do this. So you do this a couple times in between your sets, right? Or one of my favorites, the Lee Taft. You know, powerlifters, bodybuilders, they lose the ability. Older people lose the ability to shift hip to hip. So you do a couple of these in between while you're resting on your dumbbell presses or while you're resting on your rows. You know, you're doing something like this, right? This is really, really simple too. Like A lot of people have a hard time with single leg stance, right? I don't want to use that ball, but I would use like a bench or a roller for somebody, but older people particularly, sitting and half kneeling, just having someone switch from side to side, just like that. You can have them holding onto a roller, you know, in between sets of presses, in between sets of hack squat, in between sets of whatever you're doing, pull downs. Half kneeling chop and lift is another really good one. I mean, this could be a workout for some people, but here, half kneeling, up, turn, get some rotation in there, hugging the ball, rotating inside. These are all great things that you can do in between work sets. And this side is a lot more limited on me. So, you know, and we can work on things like people that have a hard time hinging, just having someone sitting and half kneeling and just have them hinge into their hip and come back up. This is great for older folks, just like that. I've seen young guys, really strong young guys, really struggle with stuff like this. You know, so these are all things you can do between your work sets, or this might be something that you do with somebody who's really out of shape. You do a whole circuit of stuff like this to get them moving better and feeling better. So there's just a few simple ideas of things that you can do to get people moving better and working on character. Oh, Flamingo is one of my favorites. We're really going to put a circus act on for you now, but this, you know, a lot of people don't do these things that require balance and full body work, the body working together as a unit. A lot of strength and conditioning is isolated. So we're going to start on this front foot. We're going to kickstand. We're going to reach across into the hip, and then we're going to come up and away. And these suck. They're horrible, right? So this is a really good way to tie everything together. My glute is just absolutely on fire on that. I'm going to make sure we don't go too far, but these are really simple things that we can incorporate. Let me get my mat back. These are really simple things we can incorporate either in a warm-up or in between work sets so that we don't become too one-dimensional. Why not do something while you're resting that's going to like raise your capacity, improve your movement quality, improve your balance? You know, those are all really important things to add in to make your workouts more efficient and to help you move and feel better. Because there's a lot of people that are lifting weights that are neglecting balance training. They're neglecting, you know, a lot of characteristics that are going to improve gait and improve their way to basically, you know, walk better or maybe even have to sprint. We can work on adding like even simple skips, you know, having people, older people, you know, just light bounces at first and then, you know, skipping in place. There's so many different things we can do, starting with nice, easy hops. Okay. And I know a lot of this stuff seems really elementary, but honestly, that's where most people are. Most people are at a really elementary level when it comes to training because they don't do anything all day, right? And they haven't done anything in years. So we got to start them where they are. And then the guys that are really strong, that have lifted a long time, half of them can't even stand on one foot. Like you get like a big meathead to like stand on one foot with his hands up behind his head like this, just simple stuff like this. A lot of guys can't do it very well, you know? So just doing a little bit of work on some of these areas is going to pay dividends in the long run. And you might as well do it because you're there already, right? So you might as well do something while you're waiting around. And your warm-up, the warm-up, a lot of people waste the warm-up. There's so many great things you can do to warm up. You know, one of my favorite stuff is like, you know, simple rolling on your back. So good. Into like squatting bear. Now we're in a bear crawl position. We're in a squat or a down dog, whatever you want to do. You go 4 times through that, you're going to be warm and ready to go. Not only that, you're doing a walk up or a down dog. You're going to work on rib cage, shoulder blade positioning. You're not only going to be warmed up, you're going to be ready to go. Medicine ball throws. There's so many great things you can do in your warm-ups and in between sets to improve your overall conditioning and your ability to train. So there's a few ideas for you. Try some of those in between, if you're doing rows or you're doing pull downs or dumbbell presses or, you're doing lunges. Pick something that doesn't work the same muscle group, obviously, and work in some things in between your sets and see how you improve and see how much better. Work on your balance in between sets. Work on balancing on single leg. Work on, things like single leg RDLs, real simple stuff like here, just reaching, touch the floor. Those are great ways to do stuff in between sets. So there's a few suggestions for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Join my men's group, Vitality Brotherhood. We have a call tomorrow. I believe it's in the morning. The women's call was this morning. Unfortunately, my internet for the first time in a year, first time since I moved here in May last year, there was a major power outage and I didn't have any internet. So we did the Zoom call on my phone. It worked out okay, but we couldn't record it, unfortunately. It was a great call. We couldn't do that. But tomorrow morning, men's call, vitalitybrotherhood.com. I have a women's group, Vitality Sisterhood. That call was today, but there's all sorts of things going on in the women's group. VitalitySisterhood.com. Stop by, join that. This show is sponsored by Pharaoh, which is basically a skincare product made out of lard. I know it sounds kind of funny, but just type it into ChatGPT how good lard is for your skin, and you're going to get a whole education on that. If you go to pharaoh.shop, use the code JIM15 for 15% off. My friend Charles Mayfield, I would be grateful. It's a great product. I wouldn't put it on here if it wasn't. I use it. Actually, I have a jar of it right here. I use it on my feet. So it's one of the few things I have shipped here to Nicaragua because it's that good. I mean, I could get pig fat here, but I don't really trust rubbing pig fat from a local source here because of just wouldn't be good. So this is better. So I have this shipped in and it doesn't take, see ingredients. I can't even read it. Lard, tallow, and a teeny bit of honey. So good stuff. This is great for your skin. It's one of the few things that work on my feet. A little goes a long way. This jar lasts me a long time. So give it a shot. See what you think, especially you ladies out there. So appreciate you tuning in. I will be on here again tomorrow around this time. I had a call today. I was hoping to be on at noon, but I had a call that was scheduled months ago that just happened to turn out at this time. So I hope this one turned out good too. It says my internet speed is super, super good today. So hopefully the audio is great. I hope you have yourself a great day. Make sure you take time to get outside and we'll see you again soon.